And
cracked up.
action. All right, so I'm Tom P for JRA Cycles. I'm here with Scott and Francois. We are all Devinci Troy 29 owners. But Scott, why do you go with the Troy 29?
Really for the travel. You know, I've been on longer travel 29ers and wanted something that wasn't as much of a truck, you know, pedaling around local spots, but still could be big enough for going down some big stuff.
All right, what do you change up from stock on yours?
I went with Fox suspension, so I did a Fox 36 short offset, and then a Fox DPX2 in the rear, and then I did I9 wheels and Shimano drivetrain brakes.
So you change everything.
Yeah, race face cockpit, race face cranks.
Oh, we're gonna have to edit that out.
Yep.
All right, Francois, why do you go with the Troy 29?
Well, I demoed it from the shop. I had it for the whole weekend. Adam set me up with a medium that had the stock 150 fork, and I really liked it on the trails that we did today. It was really, you know, keeping its speed, lots of traction, giving me more room. I came from another long travel 29er. Let's do that again. I came from another long travel 29er that had a lot more flex and a lot more travel. So it would, you know, it would take the big hits and stuff, but it would also suck all of my speed on the flat, bumpy, techie stuff. So this really has sort of revived my riding a little bit. Especially, I have a lot more confidence with like big up moves. I don't feel like I'm not scared like I'm gonna fall back anymore. So that's a big confidence booster, I think.
All right, what do you change up from stock?
Nothing really, just I have a new seat and new grips. I have a sweet Martello rear tire. Yeah, that's, I did the codes, yeah, I upgraded to the code brakes because I wanted to go down some steep stuff.
I believe it. All right, mine is the, I mean, we're all on the LTD, right? So it's the 160, so we went 160, not 150 fork.
Yeah.
SRAM Eagle, right?
Sure.
Did you upgrade yours or?
Shimano XTR.
Oh, you went XTR.
XTR,
Oh, that's
E13,
right, that's right. Yeah,
E13 cassette,
yeah.
and XT brakes, 4-piston brakes.
All right. Of course, I gotta look at my bike that's behind me. But yeah, I went to, the main thing I did is I went to a Fox transfer dropper from the Reverb, just mostly for cold weather performance, running Vittoria tires.
Cold weather bleed?
This doesn't always work. Yeah, so the Fox transfer is just nice and reliable.
The 175 Fox transfer, the new one.
Yes. Yeah, they determined I could do a 175 Fox transfer, which is amazing for upping logs.
That's a nice long drop.
Yeah.
I can say that my stock Reverb is going to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm leaning toward the one up that has 150 or 170 or infinitely adjustable, so you can really maximize the position. And I'm looking into that, so I think I might do that.
Scott, what's some of the stuff you like about this bike?
Super supportive, just a good all-around bike, and you know, Francois mentioned earlier, super stout, very stiff, you know, and I think some of the bikes
not in
have
a
had
bad way though.
No,
not
not a harsh.
Way.
Yep.
It does ride a lot bigger than a 140. That's for sure. Because I've been on 140 bikes that don't feel like that at all. There's some, you know, we landed some really stupid stuff today. On another bike, it would have been a different story.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, that's a testament to how well built the frame is. And I just got that super wide rear. For me, I do feel the difference for sure from a regular boost frame. And I mean, the trails we ride here are so, they're not bike friendly.
No.
Super technical, slow moving.
We go fast on occasion, but most of the time, you know, it's really brutal moves, and that frame really takes it well.
I mean, something I like is like sort of the balance today where, you know, I figure like why not run a 160 fork and then just run it in the, you know, it has the adjustable geometry, and so you can go low or high. So run it high mode, so it's steeper, but with the 160 fork, and I think that puts it at, is it 66 or something like that, 66.1, whatever. But it's like, it's a nice balance where it's short enough in the rear end where, you know, there's like the moves where it's like the pull up on the roll down. So you're rolling down something and then you have to pull up. And so having the shorter chain stays on the longer bike you're able to actually get it up into like a manual position, and then just case the front end with a 160 fork and ride out of it without snapping your head off.
We did one of those moves on Caveman today, where you had the little shelf drop into this big up rock, and that bike takes these sort of slow, stupid moves really well.
And one of the things too, I felt like is there's a lot of bikes out there in this category that are just super long, like super long reaches from a sizing perspective. There's even, you know, I'm 6'3", and there's some bikes where I'm sized to a large, and that's kind of pretty odd, I think, in terms of from a reach perspective. So this bike, I think, actually has a good kind of in between about not being short but not being too long on the top.
And if we lived in California and we were riding these trails where we're actually, you know, the average speed is 20 miles an hour,
yeah,
it'd be awesome to be on one of those Yeti 150s or whatever.
yeah,
But you wouldn't be able to do anything around here.
Yeah.
All the slow tech moves that we do, we have to do.
yeah.
And I've demoed so many bikes. I've done all the JRA sort of demo days, and I've demoed a lot of you know, enduro 29ers, and this one came out as a really good sort of overall performer.
Now, were you looking, so prior bike was a WFO, which
Yeah.
I was also on. So I
Yeah.
guess the question for me is, and I could answer my answer, but why'd you go to shorter travel in the rear, right? Because WFO 150, 150 or 150, 160, however you want to set it up.
It's
This is shorter
again,
travel.
it's set up for going a lot faster.
Yeah.
Although, you know, this bike was 5 years ago, the new thing, 6 years ago, and the reach has increased tremendously to a point where some of the big ones are just too much for what we do here. You know, you can't do the slow turns between two rocks. It's just too much.
Yep.
And that's, you know, the stuff you used to do, you can't do anymore with a new bike. So it's, you know, it's not an improvement.
Yeah, it really is. It's not. It is like, I mean, there's so many bike categories, but it is like they call it aggressive trail. You know,
Sure,
like
yeah.
that is what it is. Where it's like we're, you know, the stuff we're doing here. It's like it's as much up and over as down. You know, or out west, you know, you can just go down all the time, like ride up smooth stuff and down chunky stuff. And I gotta say, coming from Moab,
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
and like riding all over the country,
Yeah.
like it does incredibly well out there. It doesn't feel like too short of a bike.
Right.
You know, it feels perfect. Like Captain Ahab and Moab felt perfect. Felt like a great bike.
Not too much
Yeah.
bike, not
Yeah.
too little.
No,
Oh, just but still, you can throw it at, once it gets up to that speed, you can really, it feels playful and light.
I mean, I take this bike to the Alps this summer and go visit my family in France. I would take it, no problem. I know that the EWS Pro Racer puts a 170 in the front, but I don't go that fast. I don't need that.
But the funny, I mean, to the guy with this, is it Keegan, right? For
Yeah.
Devinci, I mean, he is, it seems like from what I've seen, he's riding it like a third of the time on races, you know? So it's something that I don't think is odd to see some of those enduro guys riding, even guys for like Yeti and some other brands, they're running a 140-ish bike in the rear, 29er, you know, and just to your point, upping the fork a little bit.
Well, this bike really takes the flat section, the really bumpy flat section where you need to get going. It keeps the speed so much better than my old bike. The amount of squish that I had, I realized, and flex was really sapping a lot of my speed. And I did a back-to-back on this trail. We're just sitting on here, Dark Tower. Back-to-back, that bike blew me away how much more it would carry at speed across the bumpy stuff.
Yeah.
So for me, that was like, and it can do all the slow techie stuff. That was a winner for me. So
Like
how do we wrap this up?
How do we wrap this up?
My one thought about wrapping it up is, I guess, is I know there's a lot of mid to long travel 29ers out there, and my comment would be is that I think a lot of other ones probably get maybe a little bit more press. You know, and I've had some buddies who have ridden some of those ones that have gotten maybe a little bit more press and done well, and they've said, not just myself, but they've said that they thought the Devinci was just as good as those, but just maybe overlooked a little bit. So one I think for people to check out. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, they tend to be, they are more durable than most, and they also have a lifetime frame warranty, which is kind of special. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this in the future. See you later.
All right.
I'm cold, man.
Yeah, it does.